Hello, 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 dearly beloveds. This is Cosmic Connection, and this is going to be another angelic intervention story and divine intervention because it consists of ascended masters too. This one in particular, Saint Germain, which is the seventh Chohan of the Great White Brotherhood, which is a race of ascended beings that exist in inner earth and are in charge of the ascension and the growth and teaching all the beautiful things involved with an evolving race of the human race, which will be covered probably in another series of podcasts. But for now, we could just leave it at that. If you would like to look it up, Great White Brotherhood, Inner Earth, Saint Germain, do a little research, you might learn something. So, on this podcast, it's me, Chosen, our special co host and host, Swanee, and our VIP guest, Mr. Maximus, the little dog. One of the best dogs in the whole galaxy, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. So, in this podcast, we are going to, first of all, last podcast, at the end of the podcast, I introduced the horizontal plane angels and the vertical force plane angels. So, on this podcast and every podcast from this one, we're going to invoke them and surround everybody watching with the energies of the horizontal plane angels and the vertical force plane angels. So let's not waste no time and let's get started. So to the east, I invoke Raphael with his emerald green fire. Raphael, thank you for holding position around me and all the viewers to the east with your emerald green fire, connected to their sacral chakra. To the south, I invoke Michael with his electric blue fire. Michael to the south, holding protection and a spot from the south of me and all the viewers in this podcast. To the west, I invoke Gabrielle with her mother of pearl white diamond fire. Gabrielle, dearly beloved Gabrielle, thank you for being to the west of me and all the other viewers of this podcast connected to their sacral chakra. To the north, I invoke Uriel, beloved Uriel, fire of God, light of God. I invoke you to the north to be around me and all the viewers of this podcast holding a field from the north. Uriel. Beneath, with the crystalline grid, the silver white fire, we have Sandalphon, beloved Sandalphon. I thank you for holding position and keeping me and all the other viewers grounded to Mother Earth and holding a shield of protection from underneath. Sandalphon, I thank you, thank you, thank you. And connect us and connect you to our sacral chakra. Above, holding Christ and Buddha consciousness, we have the white golden fire of Metatron. Dearly beloved Metatron, I thank you, Metatron, for holding a field of protection from above, connected to me and all the other viewers, crown chakra and sacral chakra. Thank you, Metatron. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is, and so it shall be. The vertical force plane and the horizontal plane angels have engaged and are holding protection from this show on, and from anyone listening in their lives from this point on to infinity. And so it is, and so it shall be. All right, that's a little magic for you, but it's good. No worries. Okay, so we are going to start off with an intervention of Saint Germain. And before I go into the intervention, what I'm about to describe, ladies and gentlemen, was around the year between 2020 and 2023. I'm not going to give too many specific details, but I was a shoe salesman at a Dillard's in Louisiana. Not going to name the one, but I was a shoe salesman at Dillard's. And at the time, I was aware that there were some things going on because of the energies I was feeling, different things I was feeling. I'm not going to get into too much detail because this podcast is about angelic intervention. We'll cover spiritual warfare and all that in other podcasts. But for now, just keep it simple. I was just experiencing some energy, right? And on this particular day, it was right before my lunch break. So I was pretty excited to go to lunch. I had a little Greek place, Mediterranean place I was going to get some Mediterranean food. So I was hungry. I was pretty excited. So here I am in the shoe department. It's about 30 minutes till. So just like he came out of nowhere, this gentleman with the most perfect mustache, the perfect complexion, just perfect, great, kind, gentle man, starts looking around the shoe department, and he winds up getting a pair of socks, and he comes to the counter, and he asks to see a belt. He asks me to get him a belt. The belts are behind the counter, okay? So I get him his belt. I'm checking out everything, and I'm just noticing his mustache, his eyes, his energy is just great. So, I check him out and everything, and I hand him his receipt, and I say, "Thank you, sir. My name is Joseph," and I shook his hand. And when I shook his hand, I felt this energy, like an energy exchange. And I didn't even know who Saint Germain was. I know who Saint Germain was, but I didn't know him as he referred to himself, which I'm about to explain. So I shook his hand, and he was about to step away. He says, "Before I go," he says, "they call me the Count." I'm like, "The Count?" He's like, "Yeah." He kind of smiles. He's like, "Yeah, they call me the Count." And he says, "You make sure you have a great day, Joseph." And he shook my hand and he left. So I'm thinking to myself, like, excuse the curse word, but who in the fuck would refer to themselves as the Count? And I'm giggling. I'm like, this dude must be fucking obsessed with Halloween. He's like obsessed with Dracula, something like that. So I'm like giggling to myself, just, not really putting things together at the moment. So my relief comes in. They take over, and I'm going to lunch. So I'm walking through Dillard's, and I'm about to exit Dillard's to go into the mall, and it hits me again. I'm like, this dude must be obsessed with Halloween, man. Like, and I'm like giggling about it. I'm like, man, who in the hell calls themselves the Count? You know what I mean? So, and I'm like, I go eat, and I'm still thinking about it. In the next couple of weeks, I'm thinking about it. And, some time has passed. And just to fast forward a little bit to where I put it all together, that was the reason why I'm telling the story. I started watching a lady by the name of Eliza Claire Prophet, and she was teaching about Saint Germain being an ascended master, and you'd never guess what she said. She says, "Yeah, they call him the Count," and it hit me so hard. I started crying. I'm like, "Oh my God, Saint Germain took physical form and came visit me at my work. Who am I to have such a visit?" Which we will get to in later segments, but which is a great story. Unbiasedly, I say that. So I'm like, man, what kind of special person I must be to have Saint Germain, of all people, come visit me and talk to me and shake my hand. I was just engulfed with emotion of gratitude, like, wow, this is, I must be someone special, which I later learned, which I'm gonna tell you more. I'm just gonna give you a little token of a little miniature spiritual bomb. I'm the reincarnation of Moses, so we could leave that alone. So that made perfect sense as to why he said that. And so that's Saint Germain. Saint Germain took physical form and came visit me. And not only did he come visit me, he hung out in different departments. When I came back, he was hanging out in different departments in the shoe store, which I'll explain to you what he was doing. But yeah, he was he was a very kind, gentle, protective person, which I'll tell in a later story. It's pretty dang interesting. It's pretty saucy, right, Swanee? Yeah, she knows. We got some great stories and great information. So that's the Saint Germain story. So the next story, we could start off. This story is kind of like, to get you to understand it, I have to tell you in the order that I could tell you that you're best understand it. So it's about, say, less than a year ago. I'm sitting in my room, and I'm just chilling, and it just came to me, I was like, I invoked all the archangels: Raphael, Michael, Gabriel, Uriel, the horizontal, and then the beneath, Sandalphon, and above, Metatron. And I invoked them, and I'm like, you know what? I tell them, I'm like, you guys could like come visit me sometime and like take physical form and just come say, hey, So, I just said that and I said that. So, from that point, let's rewind 3 weeks before this. Now remember, archangels and angels are timeless. They don't work in time, so that's why I'm going back 3 weeks previous to me saying this. Me and a friend of mine, I'm not going to name no names, we went we went to the beach. We went to the beach. It's a local beach. It's very nice. They have like a children's park. This girl, she has a daughter. She's slightly autistic, so I have a very kind heart. A very kind heart, excuse me. So we're at the beach, and at this day in particular, I was sharing different videos of a guy, which is his videos are on my page. He's a very, very well-rounded healer. He is a brother of mine of the 144. His name's Steve Nobel. Go check him out. Soulmatrix.com, I believe. He has very good healings. He's very well-rounded, and I use his healings, and they're gonna be combined with mine, which I just haven't published yet. So we covered that. So we're at the beach. We're in like a little playground. I've given my friend of mine a video for her to watch. So she goes on the pier. She's doing the healing and everything. And me and her daughter, we are at the park. We're just playing. There's a good group of people over there, but there's like 3 people just kind of stood out a little bit. I mean, they were tall. They were kind of giving me good vibes and stuff. So to continue with the story, we're playing. The girl I'm watching, she's playing with all the kids and everything. And then there was a man, a tall black gentleman. He called himself Ahmed. I didn't know. I never really looked into that, what that means. So he was playing with his child, and he referred to his child as Gabriel. I'm like, man, that's pretty unique. So I just said, man, that's a good name you have. That's a good name you have. And he's very tall, very slim. He said, well, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. He nodded his head and he kind of walked off. Now, after this, there was a gentleman, very, very stocky, that was kind of behind him. There was a good group of people, but everybody was watching their kids. And this gentleman, now that I can remember, and to bring this to light early in the story, that way you understand, he kept telling his son, hey, stay right here, but I'm going to make sure I give you your space. It's like he kept making sure that he was saying that to his child. Look, I'm gonna watch you right here, but I'm making sure I give you your space. And I started noticing this. And I'm like, what is this guy? Is he trying to get my attention or something? So I introduced myself. I says, hey man, my name's Joseph. And he didn't really give me his name. He just kind of smiled, this beautiful, beautiful smile. You could tell, now that I look at it, you could tell he was divine. And he kept telling his son, and now he's telling his son, stay over here, I'm gonna give you a space. And he looks at me, and he's like, yeah. He says, sir, he says, it's all about giving people their space. I'm like, all right. So, he says that. I'm like, okay. And then I didn't pay no attention to it. And then there was this guy with a group of dogs. Looked like he came off the Men in Black, to be honest with you. Group of dogs with his wife, and these dogs were amazing. And the guy I just spoke to, that was talking about giving him his space, I looked at him, and I just smiled, because little dogs bring out my inner child. I says, man, I says, I just love dogs. I says, I wonder if he'll let me go pet him. And he just looked at me with the most gentlest, kindest eyes, just smiling. He says, yeah. He says, why don't you go talk to him? The biggest, beautiful smile, right? So he referred to him, and I didn't really do anything, but the girl I was with, I says, hey, why don't you go pet those dogs over there? And she said, just go ask them. So she goes pet the dogs. And as she's petting the dogs, which is to my far left, which would be west, mind you, Archangel Gabriel west. We just go throw that little nugget of truth in there, a little hint. I noticed that there was this woman, just she I wouldn't say she was pretty, but you wouldn't look at her in a sexual way or anything like that. You just see she had this beauty. She was powerful, and she was standing like in a position, like kind of like looked like she was kind of like standing her ground and holding her chest out somewhat, right? Not like a guy, but I noticed that about her. She had this beautiful dress on, like this summertime fall dress on with flowers on it, and she had this white hat on, right? And she's just standing there, and she just had my attention. So I'm noticing this guy, which was to my east, the big guy, right? I'm just trying to throw that in there. And then the guy, the Ahmed, which was kind of standing to the north, he was in the same area. And then this woman with the white skirt on with flowers, well, summer skirt, summer dress, she was to the west. Now, I'm telling you this right now because I put all this together when I came to the conclusion that what I'm about to tell you is what happened. So I just get this feeling all of a sudden. I'm like, hey, I'm not going to say the girl's name, but I says, hey, kiddo. I says, let's go over here and we're going to go pass by your mom on the pier, hint, mind you, which was to the south, right? So we go over there and we're walking. We go through the sand. We walk through the pier. Her mom was okay. And we go, somebody just told me to go all the way to the end of the pier where there was this guy, fairly normal looking guy, not too big, not too small, throwing a net. And he had these two kids. So I'm like, you know what? We're going to go walk back there. And I'm going to get Lila to go talk to them kids. She likes, oh, her name's Lila, by the way. So we just threw that in there. I said it on accident. So Lila, you're in this podcast. So there you go. So we go walk to the end of the pier. And the pier splits off. It goes to the right and goes to the left. So we go to the left, and I'm like trying to have a little talk with Lila, and I'm like, Lila, look, I says, them two children over there, I says, won't you go over there and kindly introduce yourself and tell them hello, okay? Tell them hello and everything. So she's like, okay. So I turn around and I look at the guy, and I'm like, go ahead, Lila. And he's looking at me like, okay, this is my children's time to see how they go respond. This gentleman wants the girl that with him to introduce himself. So Lila goes to them, the guy, the little boy. She says, hello, my name's Lila. And he was kind of shy. And then she goes to the girl and she says, hello, my name's Lila. You want to be friends? And they're both kind of shy. And the dad was like, introduce yourself, talk. She came over here and introduced herself. And he's like, you be kind around this little girl and that gentleman. So they wind up playing and everything. And they split off. They go to the other side of the pier looking at nets, just looking at the fish, the crabs, everything in the water. And me and this gentleman just started talking. I don't remember exactly what we were talking about, but he was saying about how he was in the military. He was out of a base out of Mobile, Alabama, and where he used to be and everything. And he's just talking. He's a very, very good guy, man. We wound up talking for like 15, 20 minutes. And to make a long story short, we talked and everything. And before I left, someone just told me to introduce myself. So I said, hey, sir. I said, it was nice talking to you. And he's like, yeah, nice talking to you too. And I put my hand out. He grabbed my hand, which his hand just had like this power, this energy in it. And I felt an energy exchange going on. And his voice got kind of a little deeper. He says, nice to meet you, Joseph. The name's Michael. I'm like, huh. And I really didn't put putting thing together. And so he says that and everything. And I'm walking away and I'm thinking about it. I'm like, Michael, it's not really hitting me until the first part of the story where I started this story from, where I went back 3 weeks. So long story short, I go to the house. I pass by my parents' house, and my stepfather says to me, he's like, Joseph, and this is where I start putting things together. Like the puzzle started fitting together. He says, man, I seen this gentleman at the store, and he was telling me about how the jab, I'm not going to name no names, the jab is not good for you, and this and this and this and this. Um, and he says, but what got my attention, the reason why I'm telling you this story, Joseph, he says, when he shook my hand, like my situation at the beach, I felt this energy and I felt my heart. I'm like, interesting. So this is like where I'll start getting curious. I'm like, so he just had someone shake his hand and his heart acted like that. And then I had an experience like that. So I wound up, the girl I was with, she dropped me off at where my parents lived at, and then I went home. So fast forward back to this part where I'm talking to the archangels about come and visit me. And then I put all this stuff together. I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, that was the angels. They already visited me. They did it before the situation happened. They're timeless. They can live and give experiences out of time. You got to think about it. So it was Raphael, Uriel, the white skirt girl was Gabriel, and the guy on the pier was Michael. They came visit me. I was like, oh my God. I says, man, I was kind of in tears a little bit. I'm like, whoa, my God. I says, they really did it. And the reason why I'm telling you this story, people, is my podcast and what I do is about empowering you. Okay? We could tell some stories about this, about that, but I'm gonna stay mostly on positive stuff, or if I talk about some stuff that's not positive, it's to teach a lesson or a token of wisdom to empower you. Not only can I, being a reincarnation of Moses, have this experience, but you can too. Psalms 82:6 or Psalms 86:7, we are all children of the Most High. I'm going to go back and verify, but it's in the Bible. We are all children, not just Jesus, everyone. That the spark of divinity that exists within Jesus exists in you too, my friends. It exists in you too. You want to walk on water? You want to turn on your halo? You can do it. The potential's within you, my friends. Man, I say this with love. You are all special. You are all divine, and your potential is beyond what you can even imagine in your wildest dreams, beloved. My podcast is about empowering you, telling stories with tokens of wisdom to empower you, my friends. Okay, and I say this with love. I send love from my heart. Oh, I send an abundance of love from my heart to your body, mind, and spirit on all levels and dimensions. Feel the love pour into you. Feel the love. And I say this with love. So, my friends, dearly beloveds, this angelic protection is going to stay around you for the next 4 hours or through the rest of the day. And Raphael, Michael, Gabriel, Uriel, Sandalphon, and Metatron are going to share their divine light and energies with you through the whole day and provide healing to you. Healing will be provided to everyone listening, all the viewers from Raphael, Emerald Green Fire, Michael, Electric Blue Fire, Gabriel, Mother of Pearl White Diamond Fire, and Uriel, Ruby Red Fire. Healing will be provided to you, my friends. And so it is, and so it shall be. And from beneath, Sandalphon, Silver White Fire, and White Golden Fire above, Sandalphon and Metatron will provide healing and guidance and assistance to you for the rest of the day. Feel these angels' energies come forth. The divine is real. Not only can I invoke them and send you energies from my soul and from the vertical force and horizontal plane angels, you can too, my friends. You can too. You are special. You are divine. And you are adored and loved so deeply by myself, Swanee, Maximus, and the Elohim, the angels, and God and Jesus love you so much, my friends. So I'll leave you with this energy of love and healing. And my friends, from my heart to yours, from Swanee's heart to yours, and from Maximus' heart to yours, peace be with you, my friends. And I hope you have an amazing day. Enjoy your journey, enjoy these energies, and enjoy this love and healing that's going to be provided to you for the rest of the day. So it is, and so it shall be. These prayers and these decrees are honored by my vertical force and horizontal force, archangels of light, family, and so it is, and so it shall continue to be. Thank you, thank you, thank you.